Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning. Shake your body. Wake your punk ass up. That crust out your eyes.
You're right, and my name is Boo Boo the Fool.
So no nasty, huh?
There it is, Rosie Perez and Do the Right Thing with the one or only Spike Lee.
Yep.
She has joined us today. Rosie, how you doing?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm doing well. I was watching you. I believe it was yesterday on the Chew. Was it?
On the Chew.
You were on the Chew. You know that show, Heather?
I love the Chew. I know the Chew
I
with all of them Carla over there and Michael Simon. It's a great show.
What was that experience like being around them? They seem like they have a great time.
Oh, it was all love.
Yeah?
It was all love. Mario came to the green room, say what's up before the show, and they were just all sweet. I loved it.
Did you teach them some Puerto Rican dishes or?
The last time I was on, I tried to teach them some Puerto Rican dishes, but Clinton Kelly, he messed up the sofrito, and yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, you ruined the whole dish.
That was it, right?
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
You played them out on camera.
Yeah.
There it is, Rosie Perez in true Rosie form. Man, reading through your book, Handbook for an Unpredictable Life, Rosie Perez, it's interesting because I've been around you for so many years, and we've done a lot of work in the community for the youth, and I've gotten to know you personally, I like to think. We've hung out a few times, and I forget how famous you are and have been for such a long time. And I remember seeing Do the Right Thing in the beginning of the movie, and you see this girl doing that dance, and and I was on the West Coast at the time, and we had never really saw anything quite like that.
Right.
And was that your first film?
That was my first film. I was a biochem major in college when I met Spike Lee, and he asked me to do a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm not an actress. And he said, yes, you are, and tonight is fate. So,
wow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Crazy, unpredictable life.
Unpredictable life. And did he meet you at a dance contest? Or
He did, but I said that story 100 times.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
did.
You don't want to
Yeah,
talk about the booty shaker thing.
Yeah.
All right, okay. We won't. we won't talk about that. At that moment, did you see your life moving in the direction of film, or?
No, initially no. I went right back to school after the filming of Do the Right Thing, but it wasn't until I went to the premiere and I saw it all put together. I was fascinated, and that's when I knew this is what I want to do, and I dropped out of school.
And you dropped out. Now, what did your family think? Because are you first generation, or were you?
Yes, I'm first generation American. Yeah, Puerto Rican American. Well, my aunt was like really, really worried. She really wanted me to finish my degree, and my father was slightly worried, but he was so excited. And he said, if that's what you want to do, that's your life, and I support you.
And they got behind you.
And they got behind me 100%.
And at that time, coming out of your community, out of the Puerto Rican community, were you famous in the neighborhood already for that?
For Do the Right Thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, after it came out.
After it came out, but prior to that, people.
Prior to that, no. Well, a little bit because of Soul Train, and because of my at that time budding choreography career. People started to know me. People knew me in the nightclubs.
Okay.
It was really cool because it was like at the age of 20, I didn't have to stand on the line. I just walked right up to the door. Yo, what's up? Hey, how you doing? All right. Hey, Rosie. Let me right in. So that was really cool. I loved that. Because in New York City, I was appreciative over that.
Yeah.
Because they would dish you at a door.
Yeah.
They would dish you quick, fast. But outside of that, in Brooklyn, it was just like, oh, I think I saw you on. It was kind of like that before the film.
They were familiar. It's funny in New York. First time I came to New York, they used to make you gather around the front door, and it would be a door guy pointing.
Yes.
You could come in, you can't. You could be with your homie, he'll point at your homie. The homie could come in, and you can't.
Right.
And then that club scene was so killer back then, and I was reading in your book how you talked about the first time you met Puff.
Yeah.
Before he was Diddy.
Yeah.
And he was popular, a lot of people don't remember this, as a dancer, right?
Yeah. He was nice with it too.
Yeah.
He was very, very popular in the club scenes, and I always liked Puffy. From day one, and I had great respect for him because he was so tenacious about everything. He was so driven and focused, you know, and you know, some people were petty and childish back then, saying, "Oh, he stole my move," and I was like, "You stole Bojangles' move. You stole, you know, James Brown move. If you want to go there, that's stupid." You know,
because
the kid is nice with it.
Yep. See, and then see what Rosie is expressing at that time. See, now you could take somebody's style and it doesn't matter. There's no punishment, right?
Exactly.
You could be a biter and be proud. I'm a biter and be proud. Back then, if you took somebody's dance move or you took somebody's style, that was sacrilegious.
Yeah, it was fisticuff. It was fighting time.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what makes that so significant. Puff was a driver for, was working with Andre Harrell over at Uptown, and you met him. He picked you up from your house, or how did? Or
yeah, he would pick me up from my apartment at the time. I didn't own a home yet, and take me up to Mount Vernon every single day to choreograph Heavy D and the Boys for We Got Our Own Thing, and then later, you know, that was just for that video. Later, I got on the tour, and by that time, you know, Puffy was a viable player in the music industry. You know, everybody wanted to be down with Puffy after that.
When you. Well, you know what, Rosie Perez, I said I want to open up the phone lines and allow people to ask questions. This is really a book about your life, which is extremely interesting. This conversation could go on for hours, but we don't have hours. But I want to ask you, too, about post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, you know, and then how you overcame those things. All right, Sway in the Morning, Shade 4-5.
And sometimes when you tie, you actually win or lose.
I hate it when you talk like that.
What the hell? That was from White Man Can't Jump. Rosie Perez has joined us, the author of the book, A Handbook for an Unpredictable Life. And that movie you wrote in your book was the most fun you ever had to that point on the set?
Yes, still.
And Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson. Why?
Because they're real people, and that's no disrespect to the other actors that I've worked with, but we had a synergy that clicked from the get-go. Even as I write in the book, even when I met Woody, we clicked. You know, even later with Wesley, you know, I was such a jerk about it, and then he called me on it, and we clicked. It was just that easy, and it was fun. It was three people who understood that we are privileged, we are fortunate, and let's have a good time while doing it. We don't, you know, yes, we take our craft seriously, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. And that's why we all got along and had fun. And talk about the ganja, oh my God.
The ganja?
Yes. What?
Okay.
Oh, that's no secret. That's no secret with Woody. I was just like, oh my goodness. It was just like smoke used to billow out of his trailer, you know, and then he would be on set and it was like game time. It was just great.
So he could smoke and still hit his lines.
He can.
That takes talent, yo.
That takes talent.
It takes a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Wait, Rosie, while you were talking about them, I thought about Woody Harrelson being in like Hunger Games and Wesley Snipes going on to do Blade and all these different. Have you ever thought about going into like these big blockbuster auditioning for these films like The Avengers and all this other stuff? Do you branch out and thought about doing some stuff like that?
No. I you know, I don't think about what roles I would like to play. I kind of like kick back and wait to see what's out there and come my way. My goal, like that you'll get from reading the book, was not success and fame in regards that you get from the entertainment industry. Yeah. My goal, my success was stability, love, real connection, and enough money for healthcare. That was it.
Damn.
That was it. And I achieved that, and I'm enjoying it. The stress is not a factor in my life. So if a role comes my way and I say, oh, that's great, I want to do that. Or if a role pops up and I say, I want that, I'll go out for that, I'll do that. But I don't know. My real ambition is quality of life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm loving that.
Thank you for the answer. Thank you.
You have really good advice when it comes to people who want to be in the entertainment industry. And I was thinking like specifically about women. We've heard so many times of how a woman should interact with a man, you know, don't come off slutty, but then also don't lose yourself and try to be like the boys too hard. But how should women really behave with one another? Because sometimes we lose that camaraderie and it gets mixed up with envy.
I think that you have to show up and be your authentic self. and that you have to be a professional. And when I was in the music industry, the misogyny was disgusting, and there was times where I had to be a bitch. And sometimes that would spill over to the females as well, and it wasn't intended. It was just that I was always on guard, because I remember one time Heavy sat me down and he said, listen, you got to watch who you flirt with, who you talk to, how you move and shake. And I said, why? And he says, because this industry is just not fair. We could sleep with whomever we want to, but if you bat an eyelash at someone, you're a hoe.
Right.
And you're not going to get the respect, you're not going to get the job. And I listened to it because I knew he was right. Unfortunately, it's disgusting, it's not fair, but he was right. And as I got older, I started to check myself. Like, wait a minute. Why am I being like this with women? It's stupid. You know, it's playing into that hand, and I didn't want to be that person. I really didn't want to be that person. And I work really well with women. Right. You know, I really do. And I think that if it was more of that out there, we could just might take over.
Talk about it.
Who runs the world?
Girl.
Okay, yeah, I just fed into that. I didn't read this part of the chapter, but your living color experience working with the Wayans, Jamie Foxx, Jim Carrey, Jennifer Lopez. I saw the media trying to play you and Jennifer against each other a little bit about the, when you guys, back in the days of the Fly Girls. What was your relationship like, and where do you think that's coming from?
Well, I don't want to give it away because it's in the book, but this is what I will say. Majority of the people that read the book from front to cover feel embarrassed to even bring that tabloid issue up.
Yeah.
It's a mere mention. And the reason why it is mentioned is to talk about how, as I was just saying a minute ago, how I had to take accountability of myself and my actions and reactions to people. Because of my PTSD, I was reacting to people the same way I reacted to the nuns in the home, or the same way I reacted to when my mother would punch me in the face. You know, it had that same intensity, and it was so visceral, and I didn't understand why people go, why are you getting so upset? Why are you getting so loud? And I'll go, I'm not upset. You know, and and then I had to take inventory of that, because, you know, my best friend Julie Shannon, who also worked at In Living Color, she one day told me, so-and-so says that you hate them. I said, I just met them. She goes, yeah, but everyone you meet, they all come back to me and say that you hate them. And I was like, why? And she goes, because you don't show them who you are. I know who you are, but you don't show them who you are. And I remember that's when I was like, I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like that, you know? I mean, poor Jamie Foxx, the way I cursed him out, when all he wanted to do was say hello, but I was working. So, and as you know, as your engineer know, when you are trying to cue up music and you're trying to get it at this very exact millisecond, you know, for an edit, that you know, back then, I'm old. Back then, we didn't have this type of technology.
Yeah,
that
tape.
We had tape. And that took a lot of work, and he came in right at that moment when I was about to make that cut. And so I was, I could curse this, your show. Okay, so I was like, I was like, close the fucking door. And I remember I could hear him going away going, God damn, that Rosie Perez, she ain't no joke. What the fuck? Just want to say hello, god damn. You know?
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx. You know, and the good thing about Jamie is that Jamie knows who he is, and he has joy in life. You know what I mean? And, you know, he had no secrets.
Yeah.
So when I went back upstairs, I was really timid to walk up to him because I felt like such an asshole. And he was like, yo, you cursed me the fuck out, man. I just wanted to say hi to the girl that was on Soul Train. How you doing, Rosie? I go, I'm fine. How are you? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And we took it from there, you know, but not everybody was like that.
What was your relationship like with Jennifer Lopez?
That relationship was, I'm giving it away in the book, but that relationship was great initially. It was great, and, you know, and it was cool, and I considered her a friend, and then an incident occurred, and I overreacted. Okay. I overreacted, and unfortunately what had happened is that other people made it bigger than it was. And I fed into that. And I had to check myself because I remember watching the glee on people's faces was so disgusting to me. I was like, they're getting off on this.
Yeah.
They're getting off on all this negativity. It is shameful. How can I stop it? What is my part in it? And, you know, whether I was right or wrong, that's not the point. The point is, how do I remove myself from this ugliness? And how do I move forward and let it go? And that's the work. That's the work.
That's the journey. Nowadays, how is your relationship with her?
I have great respect for her. I always did.
Yeah.
I always did. I mean, I wouldn't have hired her if I didn't. She has an immense amount of star quality. I'm very happy for her success. And you know me, I'm saying that genuinely.
Yeah.
But we don't see each other, and that's okay too. We're two grown adults that have moved on. And that's the point. And I have no malice in my heart for her, and I'm sure she has moved on as well.
Is that what this book is about too? You know, just kind of profiling your journey and your evolution as a person, and then how you ended up to be. Because the person I know is always, Sway, I need you to come out and help these kids. But Rosie, man, I gotta go to somebody's wedding. No, Sway, I need you to come and help these kids. These kids need your presence and people like you. That's the Rosie I know. So to hear like all these things you've gone through to get to this point, man, this is, to me, is it's like a celebration of life.
Oh, yes. But here's the thing also. Those incidents occurred 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago. So it's water under a bridge. So the person that you have countered, that's who I was always. It's just I wasn't that person all the time with everybody. Now I can be my authentic self 24/7, even to the point where if I'm a little shy, that's okay. Yeah. You know, or reserved or quiet, that's okay. Or loud or get in your face or demand and say, Sway, get your ass over here now. That's okay too. But so I've been experiencing that joy for a very, very long time.
Rosie Perez is here. We're going to take your phone calls, 888-742-3345. The book is A Handbook for an Unpredictable Life. Call us, Shay 45. Rosie Perez has joined us.
Hey.
Handbook for an Unpredictable Life. Man, we can't even discuss everything in one show.
I know.
Were you diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder?
Yes, I was. And I was shocked. I was like, no, I don't. I don't have that shit. And she's like, you see, yes, you do.
That's an example. Now, usually when you hear that, it's people who come back from wars or, you know, or just grew up in such an environment that was so traumatizing to them that they never really confronted it. Where is yours stem from?
Well, what happens here in America, we diminish our trauma. Yeah. Right? We think, oh, I'm from the hood. That's just how it is. No, that's not how it is. That's not how it should be, at least. Yeah. You know, and we shouldn't romanticize that. We shouldn't romanticize, oh, yeah, my pops beat me on a regular. That's right, get my head straight. You know, that's not cute. It's not cute. Sure, kids need to be disciplined, yes. But there are many ways that you can discipline a child. And poverty is not cute either. Yeah. And, you know, and so those are traumatic experiences. But we pass them off like, oh, but that's just life. And so when you have someone who works, let's say, at McDonald's, and they are angry and ghetto as hell, I say they got PTSD. Because how are you going to go into an establishment, a professional establishment, and try to order a hamburger, and the person's going, well, McDonald's, can I take y'all, please? What? Seriously?
With
That's
the anger?
you?
Yeah.
That's you? What did I do to you? That's what I mean. Okay. That's what I mean. And also the night terrors that I would have. Just feeling threatened all the time. Ready for a fight all the time. Just not like watching a commercial and getting overly sensitive in my reaction to it and start crying. Like, oh my God, that's so sad. You know, those are things, and I didn't know that was part of PTSD. Yeah. Most people think that if you have PTSD, you're insane, and that's not true. You know, it's a condition, and it's you know, it's a disorder into how you react to certain situations. Or, for instance, when I was on tour with Heavy or with LL Cool J, I would ask them to lock me in my room because I was so terrified, you know, growing up in Bushwick, that someone was going to come in and attack me and kill me or do whatever to me. And Heavy would go, why do you feel that way? And I said, well, because that's real life. And he was like, no, Rosie, it's not. And I was like, okay, could you lock the door, please? You know, it's things like that we don't see, you know. And I'm glad that I did go for professional help. I'm glad that I was diagnosed. I was insulted, you know, especially when she was like, you're not my therapist. You're not mentally ill, Rosie, but you may need medication. I was like, what, bitch? You know,
put me on drugs?
Put me on drugs, you know. But, you know, it's you know, it's real. And thank God I did do that because it's no longer a part of my life.
Yeah. Congratulations for you. I don't want to give up all the book.
Okay.
But I do want to encourage people to get the book, Rosie Perez, Handbook for an Unpredictable Life. Growing up, were you abused?
Yes.
You were physically abused?
Yes.
By whom?
I was physically abused by the nuns at the Catholic home that my mother placed me in. And I was physically abused by my mother, by certain relatives, mentally and emotionally abused by my mother. You know, because I looked like my father, she hated me. So she would say very abusive things to me, you know, and just being ignored is abusive as well. And, you know, like I said, like people of color think that's the norm. It's not.
It's not the well, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be the norm. Yeah. Like the other day, I was walking up DeKalb Avenue, and I saw this woman. I don't know if she was Puerto Rican or Dominican, and she's talking to her 5-year-old child, saying, you know, you better shut up and don't you even dare look at me. I'll smack that look off your face. Oh my God, I wanted to hit that woman so bad. All I kept saying was, thank God I went to therapy. You know, because I really wanted to. I was like, you don't do that to a child. That's wrong. And it's done on a daily basis.
You know, thank you for sharing this with us. I want to make sure people get the book. I got a couple of callers that I want to get to. I don't want to hog you all to myself.
All right.
Let me see. We got Robert on the line from Toledo, Ohio. Robert, what up, Rob? Say hello to Rosie.
Yo, what up, Sway?
What up, man?
Man, I'm up in Toledo by way of Peoria, Illinois, man. I was just sitting here listening to you talk to Rosie, man, and man, that's what's up that y'all got going on. By like just hearing everything that she said that she's been through, I can very much relate. Like in the process right now of starting a nonprofit organization to help kids, because you know me too. I was an inner city youth, and I was a bad youth and things like that. And it's just ironic, man, because I was thinking the other day, and I was thinking about, you know, just going through life, man, and I was thinking that the quote had came to my head off that White Man Can't Jump movie, and Rosie Perez came to mind. You know, when you think about Puerto Rican and you think about sexy, you think about Rosie Perez.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, thank you.
I got to give it to you, man. You had it, and you still got it, and you're going to have it when it's over with. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Rob, thanks for your call, man, and good luck with the organization, man. Stephen in Alabama, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Love to you, Sway.
Thank
Hello,
you,
Rosie.
Hi.
I want to tell you, I grew up in Brooklyn, but I'm down in Alabama right now. You know, as a human being, I want to tell you I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
As a fan, I'm in love with you.
Thank
I
you.
did 20 years in the Marine Corps, and I went to 5 tours of combat, and I took your pictures of you every time I went.
Wow.
So I left with you close to my heart, and I came back with you close to my heart, and listening to you on the radio right now, man, brought tears to my eyes. Real.
Oh, my God. Wow. I am honored. Thank you so much. And thank you for your service.
I'm with you all the way around, and I'm going to get that book today.
Thank
There it
you.
is,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, man. Thank you for your service, Stephen. We want to thank Rosie Perez. Wasn't this great, Heather?
That was really,
Every
really
time
good.
Rosie comes up here, we have a good time, right?
Yeah.
But this allowed me to ask questions I never got a chance to ask that I always wanted to, but I didn't want to infringe on our friendship. But
Right.
but now that you put it in the book, I could ask anything. It's in the book, Rosie.
It's in the book.
You wrote it, you know. But get the book, Rosie Perez, Handbook for an Unpredictable Life, How I Survived Sister Renata and my crazy mother and still came out smiling with great hair. Pick up this book. You gotta love it, all right? Thank you, Rosie, for coming by. Absolutely.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shea 45.